Okay, let's dive right in. Today we're looking at a really interesting blog post, Digital Spring Cleaning, Control plus Alt plus Evolve.
Yeah, it's a great title. And it's
Ah,
about how one founder, dealt with their own digital clutter.
exactly. And our goal here is to kind of unpack that, not just the how-to, but also the feelings involved.
Yeah.
Letting go of old projects online can be surprisingly tough.
It really can. The source talks about managing multiple websites with, well, just one brain and a packed life. I think a lot of us can relate to that feeling.
Definitely. So the story starts back in 2016. The author set up optimizeproducts.com.
Right, it was like a digital sandbox, wasn't it? For UX ideas and just thinking out loud online. Sounds like it served a real purpose then.
For sure. But fast forward to 2025, and suddenly there are three digital homes. You've got Hyphenated Homestead, mPath Services, and still the original optimized products.
That's a lot to juggle. So a decision had to be made.
It seems so. The source says keeping all three active just wasn't practical anymore. So optimizeproducts.com, as its own site, was going to be retired.
Okay, makes sense logically. But here's where the source gets really relatable, I thought.
You mean the emotional part?
Exactly. The author calls it weirdly emotional, which I get it, not just clicking delete.
They compared it to saying goodbye to a pet rock.
Huh. Yes. But it rings true, you know? Think of all the time, the thought, the creative energy poured into it. There's pride wrapped up in that old URL.
Totally. But then there was this realization, this shift in perspective. It wasn't about deletion.
Right. It was about integration, merging, not mourning, as they put it. The standalone site wasn't needed, but the content, the ideas.
Those still had value. So they used this fantastic phrase, Marie Kondo meets metadata.
I loved that. Basically, go through the old posts, see what still sparks alignment today.
And then take that curated content, the good stuff, and give it a new home.
Which they did. It moved over to the blog at Hyphenated Homestead. I think it mentioned 10 specific posts got migrated.
Yeah, tagged with hashtag optimized products and hashtag #VeryOffStack so the knowledge lives on.
And then the old domain was let go, the hosting canceled, the core stuff was like upcycled. Smart.
It really connects to this larger idea mentioned in the post. Digital minimalism.
It's a powerful concept. This idea that you don't need to keep everything active to honor its history. Pruning the digital garden helps things grow.
We all kind of do it, right? Keep old files, old projects, just in case. That what-if thinking.
That's the default, I think. But the source pushes us to ask, what still serves me now? And maybe just as important, what deserves a proper send-off?
It's about reclaiming mental space, finding clarity, digital efficiency, basically.
And they even laid out a little playbook from their experience, a retire and rehome strategy.
5 steps, yeah. First, audit your digital stuff, see what you actually have.
Then curate, pick what still matters. Third, migrate it strategically.
Fourth, let go, lovingly acknowledge the feelings, then pull the plug.
And finally, share the lesson, which is kind of what this blog post itself does.
You can really see how this whole process feeds into the author's work now with mPath Services.
Absolutely. Helping others sort through their digital clutter, streamline things, make those transitions thoughtfully. It's about aligning your digital world with your today.
Yeah, making sure your tools actually support where you are now, not where you were 5 years ago.
It's a constant process, really.
The post ends with this imagined quote from the retired site, which I thought was lovely. Something like, "Thanks for the ride. Proud of where you're headed. I'll just rest in the archives now."
It's a nice image, isn't it? A graceful closing. It really drives home that letting go is often about making space. It's growth.
So thinking about all this, it makes you wonder, what digital time capsule are you listening right now holding on to? Maybe it's time for its own evolution or even a graceful retirement.